So welcome, Elaine,
Thank you.
to the session. Just a little power half hour on today's quote, which you should have got by email and WhatsApp.
Yeah, I did, and I did listen to
the meditation.
what you sent. But now it just says here this. Okay, right? Yes, I did listen to what you sent this morning.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, any thoughts on the quote? It's quite a simple one today.
Yeah. Just remind me exactly what it was. Let me see if I can.
Well, you can see it on the screen. So the art of being happy lies in the power of extracting happiness from common things. A guy called Henry Ward Beecher.
Yeah.
Wrote that. So we've done a bit of the metaphysics and beliefs and so on. Sometimes it's nice just to get into the very simplicity. It's a very, very simple spiritual teaching, really. It's the essence of any authentic spiritual teaching, is that it's just about being present now to the common things, the ordinary things and experiences of life. And in those ordinary things, we can actually have an extraordinary experience of life. So the picture is, a lady there's leaves falling down. It's obviously autumn, and she's just enjoying the moment. Leaves are falling on her, and just smiling and being happy. And so, really, the quote is just pointing us to happiness in the present moment, for no other reason than that you're aware, you're alive, you're aware, you're in the present moment, and whatever's arising in that present moment can be experienced with happiness and joy, because that is your true state. Your true and natural state within you is happiness and joy. And so now you take that happiness and that joy, and you just everything that you see, everything you perceive in the world is infused with that happiness and that joy. So it's an inside out. It's not that you're getting happiness from the external things. Oh, well, I'm only happy if I have a lovely sunset to look at, or I have a nice experience. I'm having a nice meal, or I'm watching a good TV program, or I'm sitting with my partner and, we're cuddling, or whatever. A lot of people are relying on the externals for happiness. But this is really saying you extract happiness from the common things, because the happiness is already within you. I'm just going to bring up this particular lesson from A Course in Miracles, because it's very pertinent in this respect, in this to this particular quote. So it's the key idea of the lesson 30, is that God is in everything I see, because God is in my mind. And again, you could translate God into something else, so oneness or love or pure formless awareness is in everything I see, because God or love or oneness or pure formless awareness is in my mind. It's a very profound quote, actually, right? It must be in everything I see, all the common things. I see all kinds of, we've populated our world with all millions of different objects, just around me. I'm seeing a desk, and there's pens, and there's files, and there's a wall, and there's a lamp, and we've got names for all of these seemingly separate things. But God, pure formless awareness, right, is my default awareness. It's my base awareness. And so that's in my mind. This is what the quote's saying. This is what this lesson is saying. That is in my mind. It's my base awareness. It's my default awareness. So therefore, if I'm only able to perceive, when he says see, actually means really perceive. When I'm able to perceive anything, it's because I have this fundamental awareness. So I perceive these common things and common experiences in the world, and God, this loving presence, this essence, this pure formless awareness, which is happiness, which is the source of all joy and happiness and peace, is in everything I see, because it's my base state. It's in my mind. Without that fundamental awareness, there would be no perception, there would be no sight, there would be no world. That is absolutely the fundamental basis of all perception. So although it's a simple quote, it's actually quite deep, because if you dig a little bit deeper, you're saying, well, why can you extract happiness from common things then? Well, because your default awareness is this pure formless awareness, or is this loving presence. And if you connect with that and you stay rooted in that, then whatever you see and perceive now must be infused with that presence. And so this is the enlightened way of living. You see everything with love. You see everything from that state of pure formless awareness, where there's no judgment, you don't judge things on the level of form and go, oh, well, that's that and that's that. And you see all the separations and the differences. And you're very judgmental on whatever you see. And judgment just fragments. It fragments your perception into millions of little bits and pieces. And this is where the ego wants to keep you, away from the idea that you are really one with everything. So underlying all the separation that seems to be in the world, all the separate things, there's actually only one awareness. There's one awareness, there's one truth, and you can see that in everything because it's in your own awareness, it's in your mind already. So from that connected state, you now see differently. You see the world very differently.
Instead of being bombarded with thoughts and beliefs.
Instead of allowing the external world to trigger you, here's the thing. So what we do is we allow the external world to trigger us. And these things that we see, and the circumstances and the events and the people and etc. of the world now trigger us. And then the triggers give rise to these thoughts and emotions, which then create our judgments of the world. And then we feel a contraction. If it's anything negative, we feel contracted, we feel limited, we feel imposed upon, we feel victimized, and all these pretty dark thoughts and emotions of the ego come up. And then we go, oh, well, it's the external world that's doing it to us. But the truth is, the external world is just a trigger for your own beliefs. For these false egoic beliefs to arise. And so in order to really live this quote, you need to find the connection within, find this presence within, and then extend it out and see it everywhere. So you see it in the very common things of life. And so you can extract happiness. You can experience happiness. Maybe it's a better word of saying experience happiness or find happiness in common things and experiences. And then your life becomes extraordinary. So I call it extraordinary, ordinary life, because nothing on the level of form needs to change particularly. You can keep doing the same kinds of things that you're doing. Most of life is pretty ordinary. You eating meals, you interacting with people, you're going to work, you're cooking meals, you're going for walks. These are the ordinary experiences of life. Very seldom do you have an extraordinary peak or mystic experience. But in these ordinary experiences, you can let happiness flow through them by finding this inner state, this inner connectedness. And you do that through spiritual practice. So if you keep practicing, you keep connecting, you take that with you into your daily experiences, and then you can't fail to be happy. Sorry, Elaine, you just dropped out there, but so
sorry, I lost you.
No
I've
problem.
just lost you for the last 3 minutes. So suddenly it just went silent.
Yeah, you dropped out. Yeah.
So is that just because of
I'll just repeat what I said.
Okay, no, but just in terms of the technology, can you just explain to me, did the Wi-Fi connection drop or what happened? Because I did nothing. You just went silent.
Yeah, it probably would have been you're on mobile. You're on a mobile signal. So
yeah.
the mobile signal just dropped
Well,
out.
I'll make sure that I really will, as from tomorrow, that, I connect with my laptop unless I absolutely can't. Like today, that was the intention, but I didn't get the location with my friend where I was going to sit to it. So anyway, all right, sorry. Yeah.
Ideally get a good Wi-Fi signal. Stable.
Can you see me clear? You can see me, can't you?
I can see you and hear you. Yeah, no problem.
You can. Okay, so if the signal drops, I'll just go like this. Can you see my finger pointing down?
Yeah.
Okay, that means the signal dropped. Okay, so
well, you'll probably just drop out of the room, but we'll come back in. So just to conclude this, what I was saying is this is an inside out job. It's saying if you can connect to your essence, which is by nature happy, peaceful, loving, you can experience that quite deeply, then you can take that into your daily life and into the common things of life. So life is very seldom extraordinary on the level of form. Occasionally we have peak experience and go, wow, that was amazing. But mostly it's pretty humdrum. You're doing your thing, you eating meals, you're cooking, you're interacting with people, you're working. There's nothing particularly extraordinary about those experiences, except that your state of mind can be very happy and very joyful and very flowing when you're doing that. And so that's why this Henry Ward Beecher said, the art of being happy lies in the power of extracting happiness from common things. I would slightly modify that and say it's actually about seeing happiness. It's actually about allowing yourself to experience happiness in and through the common things. So your common experiences are simply a platform, an opportunity to bring your happiness, to experience happiness in the present moment, right? So you're happy by default. That's your natural state. You've connected with your source. Now you have an experience which is a common experience, or you're seeing something that's very common, and you just go, yeah, that's actually beautiful. I see the purity. I see the essence of this. So in the scene, she's just opening her arms wide and going, wow, there's leaves falling on me. Very common experience, but there's joy in that experience if you allow yourself to experience joy in that common experience. And so the key is to connect with the source, connect with this inner source of happiness, which is always there. And you do that through spiritual practices like meditation and breath work and these kinds of discussions. And then you carry that with you wherever you go. Like, okay, well, my base state is pretty happy. If there's a particularly nice view, or you're in nature, that might enhance it a bit. You might find, oh wow, like actually it's really kind of flowing now, and I'm really connecting with that and feeling that. But it's still coming from within. It's not the external world that's causing it. It's the inner connection. So it's an inside out. And then how can you fail to be happy? If it's within you, it doesn't really matter what's going on, what you see, what you perceive, because the happiness is already in there. It's within you. And you just carry it with you. So God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. It's a very appropriate quote. And God goes with me wherever I go. There's another pertinent lesson. This pure formless awareness is your essence, goes with you wherever you go, cannot not be there. Provided you're aware of it, obviously. If you're not aware of it, then it seems not to be there. And
exactly. That's a very good point, Yeah. Very good point you make there.
Becoming aware of that awareness is the whole essence of any spiritual path. Become aware of it, carry it with you wherever you go. And you cannot fail to be happy and peaceful and calm and loving and poised and joyful in whatever situation, even in difficult situations. I'll give you a good example. So of a difficult situation that was handled with absolute mastery by Jesus. So I don't know if you've read much of the New Testament, but in the New Testament, there's a situation that was described where he was teaching outside the temple in Jerusalem, and the scribes and the Pharisees and the Sadducees, who didn't like him, obviously, they were trying to trick him and trip him up, and ultimately they crucified him. But they at any opportunity they were trying to trap him. So they find this woman, whom they apparently caught in the act of adultery. I mean, God alone knows how they did that. But anyway, they bring her in. Who knows if she'd actually done it or not? They bring her in before him. They say, we've caught this woman in the act of adultery. This is apparently a terrible sin in terms of the law of Moses. So our law says she should be stoned to death. What do you say, teacher? And obviously they're hoping he'll say, well, no, actually don't stone her. And then they can say, well, oh, he's defying the law of Moses, stone him.
Yes.
So a pretty tricky situation. There's a crowd there, in those days,
yes.
It's like murder was quite acceptable. You could just stone someone to death, and that was okay. So he was at risk. She was certainly at risk. A life-threatening situation. And so he just calmly ignores them for a bit. He goes down, he draws something in the sand. I think he was just giving himself some time. It's like, okay, I'm not going to rush here. Probably went down, just breathed a bit, connected with the spirit, went, okay, so what should I do here? Gave himself some time. Then he comes up and he says one sentence. He says, let he who has never sinned cast the first stone. And that one sentence diffuses the whole thing. Because everyone just has to really think about that and go, well, yeah, I've sinned. So in a very common experience, he actually found a way to find happiness and joy, because he brought that into the situation, and he saved the lady. Everyone left, and there was just the two of them, and he blessed her and said, go in peace and sin no more. So I just thought I'd share that experience with you. So let's just wait for Elaine to come back, and then we'll go on with the meditation. Okay, Elaine, you're back. Oh, you dropped out there.
Yeah. Okay. Must we just wait till we connect again?
Yeah, usually it'll go back in. If it drops out for a minute or two, you might have to reconnect. Just try and get a stable connection. So mobile is not the best. Ideally, stable Wi-Fi, or if you're on a computer, you can even get an Ethernet cable, and you can plug into the router. That's the best. That's what I do. But a good Wi-Fi connection. So yeah, I just shared that experience because that was a good example of a situation that was a particularly threatening experience, and Jesus
so he said that he who has not sinned cast the first stone.
Yeah, and everyone just dropped their stones and they walked away, because they're like, well, I can't stone this person because what he said is so true. But what he said was critical, because if he'd said the wrong thing, then the whole situation could have blown up, and he could have been stoned to death, and so could have she been. So in a common experience, he just brought his presence into that, and he created joy, because everyone left, the threat dissolved, and he blessed her. He said, go in peace and sin no more. And I'm sure she remembered that experience for the rest of her life, and maybe we're still talking about it. So that was a particularly threatening situation, but he just brought his presence of mind and this connection with source and happiness and joy into the situation, completely turned it around, and it became a joyful encounter instead of one which was led to murder. I mean, that's an extreme example, but it's useful to look at these extreme examples, because in our daily lives, if we are thinking judgmental thoughts, if we're thinking attack thoughts, then we create that kind of a reality, and we see that kind of a world. And so even in even in apparently threatening situation, a difficult situation, you can change your mind about it, and you can transform it, and bring joy and happiness into it. And that's really the art of being a miracle worker. If you can do that in difficult, challenging situations where it would be easy to react and get upset and go the wrong way, you just you remain calm, you remain poised, and you act appropriately, whatever that may be. You may say something, you may do something.
It's also an example. It's an awesome example of just bringing the light.
Yeah, into a in that instance, it was a potentially threatening, dangerous situation, and yet he just, I think his mind was so connected that it was like, I don't even see the danger. I just know what to say. I say it, and just his presence just defused the situation. And everyone's like, yeah, okay, well, you know, what he said and the way he said it, it's I can't, there's no way I can throw a stone now, because yeah, he's made me reflect within. He made everyone just pause and look at themselves instead of projecting all of their guilt onto that woman and then stoning her. He made them go within and look and go, oh, actually, you know, I'm certainly not perfect. So, okay, you know, I need to drop the stones and walk away. So it is a good example. But we can apply that same, you know, in whatever situation, particularly if you're feeling threatened and things, you know, feel like, okay, just no, happiness, love, peace, joy are still here because they're in my mind, and I can bring them into the situation. And if you stay calm and you stay connected to that, then the right words and the right actions will come. You'll be guided. And this is really the whole point. There's no set rule. You can't say, well, in this situation do this, and in this situation do this. You know, I know in the Jewish faith they've got like 600 odd rules. It's very difficult to live that way, because like, and a lot of them are, you know, rules that were set 2,000 years ago. So kind of the world's gone and things have changed and the social construct changed. So like, and how on earth are you going to remember 600 odd rules to live by? It's just impossible. So, you know, what he was saying was, look, there's another way here. You can just connect with this presence, with the source, and then it will guide you. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions come from that presence, that source, that intelligence that's within you. It's your true source, your true mind, and it will guide you in every situation to bring it into the common experiences of your life, whatever's going on. Okay, now you handle it better. You deal with it in a way that's poised, that's calm, that brings happiness to you and others who are in the situation. And that's really the art of living, the art of living happily. So it's a simple quote, but you know, all these quotes, they point you quite deep. If you go deeper, you find it takes you all the way into the truth. So I hope this quote and discussion's done that for you. Any thoughts or questions on that? Shall we go into meditation?
I think what did you say that I found very profound? Was that you write things down when I do find something profound. It's a good idea, you know, start a little notebook. But I think if we in our truth, the appropriate answers come to us. I think that's what we learn from that story. If we are, and you know, yes, you know what I think what you said is that if you are aware of the joy of just being in the presence of light, okay, and in simple existence of whatever is existing in the moment, then you're not going to get yourself into trouble in the first place with all the bullshit that goes on. So we need to remind ourselves that we're happy, we're okay. You know, I mean, I know what it's like to be in a suicidal depression, so I know the difference. So I think it's just if I can just remind myself, sure, this is amazing. Yeah, I'm sitting like in the road, you know, surrounded by many beautiful trees, magnificent trees. And actually in a very good space, and I just need to feel the gratitude for it, not take it for granted, and not allow myself to get into any other mode that is not true.
You know, the very, like, enlightenment is actually so simple. It's a joke. It's one the Zen tradition is saying enlightenment is a joke because it's so simple. It's right here, right now, in the moment.
It is. You know, we sort of think this.
You're happy. You're present. You're alive. You're feeling happy and joyful. What else is there? I mean, it is actually that simple. And yet, of course, because our minds are so complex and the ego comes in and complicates matters, it becomes not simple. We've got to undo all of that. That's why we have difficulty with it, because the very simplicity of it is what makes it difficult for us, because our minds are so complicated.
Yes.
And we sort of think it's got to be a complicated answer.
There must be more to it, because
there must be more to it. It can't just be as simple as being happy now in the moment.
It can't be worthwhile if there isn't more to it.
Yeah. And yet, you know, the greatest masters and teachers, they're simple. It's just like, yeah, it's right here, right now, in the moment, and just appreciate, you know, life in the moment by moment by moment. That's really the essence of all the great spiritual teachings, is be here now. Just be present, be connected to who you are, and in your awareness, then there's an underlying peace and a happiness and a joy that's there, and it's always present. God isn't everything I see, because God is in my mind, and that infuses everything you see and everything you do. And you know, it's simple idea, simple teaching, but to actually live this, you know, this is the journey, to actually stay out of the ego mind, stay out of the entrapments, stop judging. You know, this is the art of letting go. Really, you need to let go of all that, so you clear the space so that you can just be present now. Yeah, I'm just present now. I'm not overthinking things. Whatever the common experience is, I bring my happiness into it. I flow with life. If there's a difficulty or challenge that comes up, I'm able to let it go. I just, okay, I don't go there mentally and emotionally. I don't get myself embroiled in that. I stay in that clear, calm space above the battleground, Jesus calls it, you know, not getting sucked into all of the negative thoughts and emotions. And then happiness is there in your common things, in everything you see and everything you do. The underlying happiness goes with you. God is in everything I see, because God is in my mind. So very, very simple, but profound, because most people don't live this way. How many people do you know who live like really just simply in the moment? They're connected, they're present, they're aware. Very, yeah. I mean, if you meet someone like that, it's a pretty extraordinary thing. It's like, oh wow, this person's somewhat different. You know, we call these people enlightened, and yet they're actually just normal. They're just being who they really are, and they're being present. So the normal, you know, the normal sane people in an insane society are seen as somehow extraordinary and different. So just to summarize this, I say this is an extraordinary, ordinary life, because you carry on doing whatever you're doing. You know, you don't need to go and seek for extraordinary experiences and like do thrill seeking, or, you know, a lot of people are seeking something, and so then they'll go for these extraordinary experiences. That's why people, you know, end up hooked on drugs and stuff, because no, I want the high, you know, I want to. You don't need that. It's just like, no, in every moment your presence.
And the rich that are always looking for the extraordinary experiences. They go here, they go there, they travel. Have you been here? Have you been there? This is amazing. No, you don't need it.
Wherever you go, there you are.
There you are.
Whether you're sipping brandy in San Moritz after, you know, skiing, or you're just at home, you know,
in the road.
Or you're at the road, there you are.
In the middle of the road.
Your presence is, you're still the same. And so you carry that with you wherever you go. So you don't need to then seek anything. You just take it with you wherever you go. Whatever arrives, you go, okay, I take my presence with me.
Right. Instead of taking
such a simple way of living, and yet it's not the common way. Our society promotes other ways. You know, oh no, you've got to go and no, seek that experience. Look for that.
You know, people often say, you know, when people are going here, that people say, you know, you take yourself with you wherever you go. So you can either take your troubled mind with you, or you can take your peace with you.
Yeah.
But you will take with you what's in your what your truth is, and if your reality is living in your head, freaking yourself out, then that's your reality, and that's what you take with you.
Yeah.
If your reality
you could be in the most beautiful location
in the moment, then that's what you'll take with you.
Yeah.
We have choice.
The most idyllic island setting, and you won't be happy because your mind is gonna start doing the same thing.
And then you'll really be
a lot of people are addicted to the adrenaline and the rat race. They find it very difficult to go on holiday. 2 days into it, they're like, I don't know what to do with myself. Yeah. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to stress about. Like, I can't, I've got to get back to my, computer, laptop, engage in the world, mind stuff, because they're so addicted to the mind stuff. But just to do nothing is really hard. So yeah, it's a simple, but it's a very profound quote, which points to the essence of every great spiritual teaching. So shall we do a meditation?
Yeah.
All right. So just making yourself comfortable.
Okay.
I'll put you on mute. So just sitting comfortably, your feet shoulder width apart. Keep your back straight, cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So just breathing in. Noticing how the stomach rises, chest rises. A subtle flow there in through the nostrils. Clenching the sphincter muscle. It's a muscle used to lock in the energy. And just squeeze that to lock the energy in. Feel this warm wave of energy rising up the spine into your heart center. Put one hand on your heart, connecting with your heart space. Drawing the energy up to the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Just check in and scan your mind. So just noticing any thoughts, any emotions going on, any sensations. That are related, and just be willing to let it all go, whatever the thoughts are, whatever the emotions are, sensations. You can just release them all, just drop them all. So to help you do that, exhale out through your mouth, letting it all go. Feeling the energy subside back down the front channel of your body, chest and stomach suck back in. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Just rest here for a few moments in peace and stillness. So in the gap between breaths, you can find this gap in your mind, gap in thoughts. It's just presence, just pure formless awareness. And this is where happiness comes from. Part of being happy lies in the power of taking this awareness and seeing it in the common things and all of your experiences of life. You carry it with you wherever you go. So as the lesson that I've chosen today from A Course in Miracles says, God is in everything I see, because God is in my mind. I can translate that into happiness is in everything I see. God is the source of happiness. Happiness is in everything I see because happiness is in my mind. Happiness is your default awareness. So that's your base state of awareness within which all perception happens. How can happiness not be in your mind? It must be there. It's your default state. So why can't you see it in everything? Can't you just be happy no matter what you see and experience? Truth is, you can be. And so just breathing in and out through your nose for a few minutes. Focusing all your attention on the breath, subtle sensations of the breath. So breathing in through your nostrils and out through your nostrils. And the stomach rises and the stomach falls. And you just observe these subtle sensations of the breath just happening to you through you and for you. It's not really you doing it. Breath's just happening, the breath's breathing you. You're just the observer, the witness. And in this witnessing, observing state, you'll find that happiness is just a word to describe a state of mind that is free of dysfunction, really. Just clear, light, aware, open. It's a nice kind of smooth, comforting feeling to happiness, presence that's reassuring. Just everything's okay. Everything's okay right now. And so just sink into that feeling. Keep watching your breath, observing the subtle sensations of the breath flowing into the nostrils and out of the nostrils. Stomach rises and stomach falls. And you just observe these sensations. So you put all your attention on the breath. It means you're not thinking. And you allow your true nature, which is happiness, to shine through. If you notice any thoughts, any emotions, any sensations in the body arising, just observe them casually. And you're just a witness. And these things, these thoughts and emotions and sensations are not real. They arise and they pass away. They're like cloud patterns. They come and they go, they shift and they change, but anything that changes cannot be real. So you just let them go. Mentally and emotionally, you just drop them, exhale to help you do that. As in you blowing them away like clouds with the breeze of your breath to the nothingness they really are. And all that remains is the clear blue sky of true awareness. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. You've got a thunderstorm going on in the background, so you can probably hear, but that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what the external world is doing, what's happening. It's your internal state that matters. And that actually is completely independent of the external world. You can be rooted in this happiness. It comes from your own true nature, your pure formless awareness. Irrespective of what's happening outside of you. This is the mastery, spiritual mastery, simply being rooted in your own awareness, not being swayed or shaken by external appearances. Just staying here. The peace and the stillness, sinking deeper and deeper into that peace and that stillness. A couple of minutes of deep silence. There's really nowhere else to go. And there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still, observe the breath flowing in and out through the nostrils, the touch of the breath. Area just below your nose, between your nose and your upper lip. And just go within. Each breath take you deeper and deeper into this peaceful, calm, happy place, state of mind. Where there's only that. No thoughts, no feelings, no emotions, sensations, nothing intrudes. You just enter into this presence fully for the next 2 minutes of deep silence. Any thoughts, any emotions come up, seem to be disturbing. Observe them casually. Imagine they're just like clouds drifting by. They have no power to obscure the eternal sky, your true awareness of the light of your source that shines through it. So just blow them away with the breeze of your breath, letting them go into the nothingness they really are, and resting in this eternal sky of your true, pure formless awareness. Another minute or two of deep silence. And so just gently coming back to awareness of the body, the breath, senses in the world. On the count of 3, you're going to bring your awareness back into these and into the world, and gently open your eyes on the count of 3. So 1, breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. The subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clenching of the sphincter muscle. Drawing the air and the energy up the spine. So heart center. Put one hand in your heart to connect with your heart presence. All the way up, feel the energy rising into the crown of your head. Pause at the top of the inhale. And scan your mind. Notice any thoughts and any emotions going on. You notice how clear and calm and light. Some spacious awareness wasn't there 15 minutes ago. So just appreciate that. If you notice anything that's still going on there, thoughts and emotions, just be willing to release them with the help of your breath. So exhale. Blowing them all away. Notice how the air flows out of your mouth, chest and the stomach suck back in. Energy raised up into the crown, subsides back down the front channel of your body like a wave breaking back into the ocean. Into rest in your lower stomach and your groin. So on the count of 2, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, the seat, feet touching the ground. Notice what you're feeling, your hands, what you're touching. Maybe there's a subtle smell in your nose, taste in your mouth. And notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. And just noticing all these things from this very still, calm and surrendered state. Without judgment. Without judgment, there's just this base state of happiness. You can find happiness in common things and experiences of life. Because God or love, pure formless awareness, if you prefer calling it that, is in everything you see. God or love or pure formless awareness is in your mind. So just resolve to stay connected to this deeper presence. Carry that with you for the rest of the afternoon and evening. So I'm saying, and so it is done. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes, look around you. A minute or 2, observing the various objects in the room. And there's this underlying awareness, this happy awareness. No matter what you're looking at, it can be anything. In your case, it could be the steering wheel, the windscreen wipers, whatever's inside the car. You notice as you scan your eyes over various objects around you randomly that your underlying awareness is the same. There's no difference between the things you see, because the underlying awareness is exactly the same, is identical. So then you start learning that that awareness is always there, it goes with you wherever you go, and really does not need to be affected by your perceptions of an external world and what's happening externally, what's occurring in the world, in your life. None of these things really matter to this awareness. It is just there. This is why at some point in the Course Jesus says God is, and then we cease to speak. There's nothing more to say. It's just presence that is. And when you can stay connected to it, then you will see happiness, you will experience happiness in everything you see. In the common things and experiences of life, because that awareness is always with you. And that is how you really live today's quote. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and the session. So thank you for joining me, Elaine. Appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. And hope to see you again tomorrow at the same time. So, namaste, which means the divine presence, which leads to happiness and joy, in me acknowledges and honors that same presence of happiness and joy in you.